Hooray, it's 2025 now. Everything feels so different. Welcome everybody to the channel's 2024 year in review video. To be perfectly honest with you all, saying the year is 2025 is weird to me. It's such a futuristic sounding year, and yet here we are. Microwaves still aren't instant, and there's no colony on Mars. Anyways, I'm getting off topic. This video is going to be a recap of the last year on the channel. I think it's safe to say that 2024 was the first real year of uploads. Since before that, I only uploaded once in October of 2022 and once in February of 2023. So in 2024, I averaged out to about a video and a half each month. That's all thanks to having no summer job this year, and let me tell you, staying unemployed while I went back to college was, in retrospect, one of the better decisions I've made in recent times. It gave me plenty of time to work on videos. At one point during the summer, I think I was making like a video every other week for a minute there. Of course, I had to slow that pace down when classes started back up in August, but still, it was a good time. Obviously, the heavy hitter has been the new series, Where Are We Now? Everyone's favorite. 9 out of 10 people watching this video right now discovered me from that. I'm glad something as simple as exploring Gmod maps, a hobby I've had on and off since I was like 10, resonates with so many people. It's really cathartic. I'm also extremely pleased to see that the series still finds an audience when it ventures into games besides Gary's mod. My other series, which is called Games from Earth, has gotten mixed results this year. I think it's because now that most people are here for WoW, my subscribers click on the Games from Earth videos less often, which causes YouTube to promote them to a broader audience less. And honestly, that's okay. For the next 15 minutes or so, we're going to go over each video from the last year and what they meant for me and the channel, because I think it could be helpful for viewers who are looking to express themselves through making videos like I have. We'll get behind the scenes a little bit, we're going to go over what I've learned, and what you can all expect from me moving forward. Okay, the first video I made this year was a review of an obscure game called Bitardia, an indie shooter made by a Russian Evangelion-obsessed Zoomer. WoW wasn't even a twinkle in my eye at this point. 2023 was a really stressful year for me, and that stress coalesced into a desire to just review something totally wacky and go off the rails. Before then, I had tried to focus on reviewing games that I had something to say about, but with Bitardia, I went in totally blind. It had been sitting in my library for a while, and I remembered it making a weird impression on me. I guess I remembered correctly. Plenty of people chimed in and explained some of the esoteric Russian image board culture humor contained within the game for me. That was cool. And this is behind the scenes stuff, but after that, I wasted a long time working on a full review of Dark Souls, only to decide to scrap it. Seriously, I had like 20 hours of footage, but it just wasn't coming out right. Maybe someday I'll try again. There's plenty of things I could say about Dark Souls, and not all of it is praise. You see, that stress that had eaten away at me in 2023 hadn't totally dissipated yet, and I had no idea what game to review next. And then, very suddenly, I realized that I had literally nothing to lose by trying something new. I've always been a fan of watching YouTube videos at night before bed to relax and decompress after a long day, so I wanted to make something that I would want to watch in that situation. I wanted to make something mellow and whimsical, and I have always had an interest in virtual spaces. So a video series about exploring maps in one of my favorite childhood games came naturally to me at that point, and Where Are We Now was born. I uploaded that first episode in March, right towards the end of my second semester. I had no idea it would be my most popular material by far. Imagine my shock when I logged onto my 300 subscriber count YouTube channel one day to find that the random video idea I thought up in the shower now had tens of thousands of views. It was pure insanity. Obviously, I wanted to see if that last video was freak luck, or if this actually was something people wanted to watch. After all, my previous videos all had less than 2,000 views at the time, so I did it again. The second Gmod video was pretty much a direct sequel to the first one. Longer, higher quality, and with more time put into the editing. That video also inspired people, and that was when I knew that we had something kind of special here. There was a demand for this kind of thing. I was overjoyed. Not only to be doing YouTube videos for a sizable audience, but also to learn that so many other people shared my love for digital exploration and Gmod maps. A lot of people compared me to the librarian early on, but to be 100% truthful with you all, I had no idea who that was until people spammed his name in my comments. I checked their channel out, I see the similarities, but our videos are completely different styles. Mine, for example, are like video essay format, with narration, extensive editing, and writing. I think the librarian is more of a Let's Play channel, focusing on live commentary. Either way, it was really flattering to be compared to a channel with so much more influence than my own. The Futurama game review came next, and it was, let's call it a knee-jerk reaction. I had just finished the last season of the show at the time, so Futurama was still fresh in my mind. I found out that there was a PS2 game, and that a lot of people actually liked it. After playing it, reviewing it, and spending way more time on it than it really deserves, I can safely say that I disagree with all of those people. That game is ass, and it's aged like milk. It was fun to roast and get angry in a video, but it definitely dimmed my embers on game reviews for a little while. After that, I really started putting thought into the Gmod videos. I wanted to make more, not only because they were pulling together a fun, kind community, but because I had a wanderlust, and still do. I decided that a central theme really pulls all the other elements of the video together, and that's when I started having themes for each episode. This was also when I decided to name the series Where Are We Now officially. Before then, it had no name. The late night special episode was the second longest video I had made by that point, being just 9 minutes shorter than my Fear review. Being so long, it took much longer to edit, but it was worth it. I think it's one of my favorite episodes of WoW to date. It turned out exactly the way I wanted it to. And people liked it, so it had the growing community wondering what the next theme would be. I was wondering too, since I'm bad at planning ahead. Around this point was when I really decided to double down on Where Are We Now and focus on it over Games from Earth for the time being. The late night special had just been such a breath of fresh air compared to the Futurama game in terms of how much more I enjoyed making it. So I did just that. The second ever themed episode of Where Are We Now came to me easily. I had always liked maps with big, sprawling underground structures, so I wanted to make a video about them. I didn't expect it to blow up the way it did, but man, it was nice to get so many comments. This is also the video I got my first hate comments on. I don't even remember what they were, but I deleted them. I regret that now because I think it would be fun to collect the hate comments and put them into a scrapbook someday. Oh well, I guess I gotta do more cringe shit to get more hate, so I can do that. Just a week later, I wrote, recorded, and edited a micro review of the Elden Ring expansion Shadow of the Erdtree in one afternoon. I had a lot to say, and it was mostly made to send to my friends, but I figured I might as well upload it for everybody. It was fun. Little known fact, this is the most disliked video on the whole channel. I chalked this up to Elden Ring White Knights thinking that their beloved FromSoft can do no evil because I did criticize their quest design in that video. I stand by what I said. I think the FromSoft fans have a really unproductive way of responding to valid criticism. And I can say that because I'm one of them. The next video I did was an episode of Where Are We Now focused on liminal spaces. I recognized that it was a 2-year-old trend already, I just didn't care. I find the dreamlike aura of liminal spaces really fascinating, and people in the community seem to agree. So I figured I'd get it all out of my system in one big liminal video. This was the first and only video I tried an end screen on, too. I decided I didn't like it. In a few thousand years when historians are digging up my videos, they're probably going to wonder why the created by Logan from Earth at the end is so low down on the screen. Now they know. It was during the tenure of that episode of WoW that we hit 10,000 subscribers, so we did a Q&A. It was fun. Go and watch it if you just find me absolutely fascinating and want to hear me talk about myself for 26 minutes straight. Who knows, maybe we'll do another one if we hit 50k. Now, the review of Jedi Academy was a long time coming. I had played the game for the first time a year prior and thought it would be perfect for an episode of Games from Earth. And it was. That video turned out so well. I sort of wish more people saw it, but I won't hold it against you. It's lobster content. We talked about this in the Q&A. It's my favorite episode of Games from Earth so far. It also took the place of the late night special as the longest video I've ever uploaded. This was also right before college was starting up again for me, and I knew that Where Are We Now would be much easier to produce during the semester. So I wanted to squeeze one more game review out of me before that point. After that, I was really thinking about WoW and how the channel had become so much more popular solely from videos about Gary's mod. I love making videos with Gmod because it's just so easy to work with and I'm familiar with it, but I really don't want to get stuck as a Gmod guy, you know what I mean? I think that would be really creatively suffocating for me. But I also really love the exploration format I had been working on. I discovered that the solution to that problem was to take Where Are We Now and put a new spin on it. The VR chat episode marked the first time the series ever ventured outside of Gary's mod. It let people know that it wasn't just a Gmod series. As a bonus, I think it also turned a lot of Gmod heads onto VR chat as a place to explore. It was a little more difficult to produce since the UI wasn't as good as Gmod's for finding new worlds, but overall I was very satisfied with that video. There's lots of interesting stuff to find there. I was in full where are we now mode at this point. They were easy to make, and they made enough ad revenue to pay for my crippling gambling addiction, groceries. So I just really laid into the exploration in the next episode. Gmod maps that go even deeper. It's the most popular video on the channel by a huge margin, and I think it's thanks to a combination of the editing and the maps featured themselves. The ones in that video were some of the most interesting ones I've ever seen. So far, it's the only video on the channel to feature a voice other than my own, too. The idea to have Dan voice Prisms in Vacant Industry came to me while I was eating a bowl of chili. Dan and I have been good friends for a really long time, so it was fun to work with him on that. I was very happy with the way that video turned out in the end, despite being worried it would be corny while I was editing it. And shout out to Andrika for offering to do full subtitles on that video, too. Well done on those, and thank you. It was at this point when my coursework for college started sucking up more and more of my time, much to my displeasure. College still takes priority over the channel, but like, barely. My way of living is simple. I like to prioritize doing things that make me happy. Either way, the next episode was the Halloween special, another one of my personal favorites. It was primarily a way of getting into the Halloween spirit since it felt kind of lacking last year. While I was working on this video, I was also putting together a team of moderators to be in charge of the community Discord, which is what caused the editing to take a little bit longer. Previously, I said I would never do a Discord, but I caved. I didn't want to do it because I didn't like babysitting stuff like that, but then I realized I can just scam people into babysitting it for me for free because I'm a chill guy. I'm just kidding. My mods do really important community work. Give it up for the mods, everybody. Once the Halloween season had blown over, I got a random bug up my ass to play Morrowind of all things, so I did. And while I was playing that, I remembered people saying in the comments that Skyrim modded player homes would be a great thing to explore for Where Are We Now? And they were right. I have always adored Skyrim. I've been playing it since it came out, and even though I play a lot less nowadays, the memories it gave me are still a fresh source of joy. It's a perfect playground for exploration, what with the flourishing mod scene and all. This was also the first time I was ever the target of a revenue scam, so that was fun. Someone claimed a snippet of footage from the 1922 silent film Nosferatu as copyright. Only that scam doesn't really work because that film entered public domain half a decade ago. I pushed back on it and they caved, but now, every 2 weeks, the same scammer claims my video and I have to file a dispute again. I'm pretty sure it's a botted account running some algorithm to automatically steal money. I already contacted YouTube support to see if they can do something about it. Probably not, but we'll see. The next and final video of the year was an episode of Where Are We Now dedicated to uncategorized maps that I had accumulated in my archives over the last 9 months or so. It's weird, as of recording this right now, I just uploaded it, and I'm watching the comments roll in. It looks like people like it, so that's good. That one was a lot of fun because there's so much weirdness to be celebrated, and it comes in all kinds of forms. I considered doing a real Christmas special since it would be right around that time when it came out. As a matter of fact, I even got a good bit into the writing and recording process before I decided not to do that. It just wasn't sparking my imagination. I hated to disappoint the people who were waiting for an actual Christmas episode, but it just wouldn't have been as good of a video if I hadn't scrapped it and started over. It's ending up to be one of the most educational videos for me, since a lot of TF2 fans are chiming in and explaining some of the references I missed in the Sky Archive map. And it's a pretty good experience. And so ends 2024, and we arrive at the video you're watching right now. It was a good year for me, truthfully. It was definitely the most creatively stimulating one I've ever had. Seeing how much other people enjoy the things that I like to make sparks my imagination even more. I have lots of ideas, some of which I won't spoil, but I can tell you a bit of my plans for 2025. So in January, on the 22nd, I'm beginning my final semester of college. If all goes according to plan, I'll be graduating with my bachelor's degree. Thing is, though, it's gonna be a stacked semester. I'll have way less time to work on videos. That doesn't mean they'll stop, of course, it just means they'll slow down until like May or so. Now, after I graduate, I think I'll be leaning harder into producing stuff for the channel while I consider finding a real job. This is around when you'll begin to see some of the new ideas being thrown around. Where Are We Now won't go anywhere, though, so don't worry. We're going to be exploring a ton of stuff this summer. I'm not looking forward to having to turn my AC off to get good microphone quality, though. That's pretty miserable. I can tell you that at some point after August, likely in September, I plan to start doing live streams. Tentatively, I'm thinking they'll either be once a week or every other week, depending on how much time I want to take away from producing the real videos on the channel. They'll be pretty laid back, nothing too crazy. Just your typical guy playing games with chat streams. I don't know where I'll be streaming yet, but I'll announce it plenty of time in advance. I'm excited for that. Hopefully my optimism is justified. I also think it might be prudent to open up a Patreon account so that people can support the channel that way, since a few of you have requested it. I have no clue what the perk tiers would be, or if there would be any at all, but it would help me produce stuff faster and with higher quality if my bills are paid, you know? That'll also probably start up in the fall. Maybe earlier. I don't know yet. And that is pretty much the entire roadmap I have for the next year of the channel. I should stress that these are just plans. Nothing is set in stone, and it's kind of the nature of life itself for plans to disintegrate and change over time. So take everything I just mentioned with a grain of salt. I want to give a special thank you to everyone who has joined the community in the last year. All 20-something thousand of you. Each and every one of you is a treasured explorer. Never forget that. I also want to thank my talented mod team for keeping the Discord channel prim and proper as it grows. You all do incredible work. When this year started, I wasn't in the best place mentally, but exploring worlds, reviewing games, and just generally reveling in the power of imagination with the community was something I never realized how badly I needed. I'm in a totally different place than I was last January, and I hope others can say the same. Thanks for watching, everybody. Here's to another banger of a year in 2025. And good luck to everyone with New Year's resolutions. Alright, see ya.